Why, what, how? Why, what, how? Why, what, how? Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your next step towards mastering Scrum? We at Sprint Planning, where the sprint goal sets you on a path to the product goal. From your personal development product backlog, there's a prominent item: the Professional Scrum Master class. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of my favorite classes. Oh my goodness gracious, it's all like hot butter or popcorn. Let's dive into why should you take this class, what does it entail, and how can you get started on this exciting journey to becoming a Scrumologist. I'm a Scrum, or you a Scrum, or wouldn't you like to be a Scrum or two? Wouldn't you like to be a Scrum or two? Run that play. Greetings, Scrumologists, and welcome to this Scrumcademy episode on the legendary PSM1 class. Today, I want to guide you through what to expect, why is it worth your while, and how to get started on your journey towards becoming a distinguished Scrum Master. So let's jump right in and explore the first pathway towards your Scrum Mastery together. Thinking of sprint planning, why should you consider taking the PSM1 class with Grand Scrum Master Scott and Scrumcademy in the first place? Beautiful question. Well, I'm going to give you 5 compelling reasons as to why you should consider taking this PSM1 class. Number 1, this course is loaded with a ton of practical experience and insights. I'm also going to share about my personal insights. I am a full-time Scrum Master working for Fortune 50 companies. I will share many of my experiences working as a Scrum Master in many different companies across many different domains. You're also going to tap into the collective intelligence of the class. You will have people there that don't have any experience, some in the middle, and some people will be there that they are already Scrum Masters and have been practicing for a while. They're looking to up their skills and to get better at their position. This class is your guide to understanding how to effectively use Scrum, especially in complex product development. Think of it as a map through the jungle of complexity towards Agile sphere, the place we're trying to get to. Yes, we're trying to get to this place called Agile. Number 2, Scrum isn't just about a collection of rules. It's built upon a solid foundation of theory and principles. We're going to dive deep into the why behind Scrum, and you're going to learn how these principles guide decision-making and discover the Scrum Master's key role in this framework called Scrum. It's like being handed the keys to the Scrum Kingdom. Number 3, maybe you've been paddling in the shallows of Scrum, but now it's time to dive deep into the waters. This class is for those who want to broaden and deepen your understanding of the Scrum framework. It's going to be like going from a novice swimmer to a Scrum lifeguard. Number 4, the PSM1 certification isn't just about a piece of paper. It's a badge of honor. Ladies and gentlemen, when you pass this exam, you will have done something, because this is the hardest exam on the planet for Scrum Masters. The industry recognizes the Professional Scrum Master certification as proof that you have mastered the fundamentals of Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide. This is your ticket to show the world that you are a Scrum professional. But here's the best part. Once you're certified, it's a lifetime achievement, meaning that once you're certified, there's nothing else you need to do in terms of reporting to Scrumcademy or scrum.org. However, we do believe that learning is a lifelong journey. We love to learn, and we think learning is vitally important to your success. There's no other monies you have to pay once you're certified. Again, it's a lifetime achievement. So that's one of the beautiful things about this certification. And one thing I want to call out on that note is you're not just learning for the now. You're investing in your future. It's like planting a knowledge tree that keeps bearing fruit. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I think there's another benefit you should know about that could happen to you. And that is, sometimes I have students come to the class with all intentions on executing on what I will teach. And then life happens. Maybe you get sick, have to go to the hospital, have some type of recovery period, or maybe a loved one you have to take care of, or whatever may happen in life. Once you are a member of Scrumcademy, may you always a member, lifetime member. You joining a family. So I say that to say that if that should happen to you, or whatever the situation may be, that if you find yourself, I haven't used the information that I learned, let's say last month, last year, or whatever the case may be, and now I want to go back and get a refresher. You can do that at any point in time. You can take the class as many times as you feel that you need necessary. Now, some of my students do that, and there's nothing wrong in their life. They just using the concept of every time I read a book more than one time, I see something that I miss. Every time I watch a movie again, I always see something that I miss. So each class that I teach is different. Make sure the content is the same. Outside of the mandatory curriculum I'm going to talk about, you really dictate what I talk about. And that's really in the introduction phase, whereas you write down your questions. So I typically don't answer questions right away. I like to do a little teaching first. I do that because by the time I get to answering your question, you probably have already answered it within your mind yourself. So I'm going to add my 1.5 cents. That's more effective than just me starting off the class, answering your question, knowing good and well you don't have the holistic view that I would like for you to have to receive the answer that I'm going to give you. I want to make sure I call that out for you. Again, once you take a class with Scrumcademy, you're part of the family. Watching the videos here, you're part of the family. However you support us, whether you're spending money or not, you part of the Scrumcademy family. If there's anything I could do for you, just let me know. Because remember, our goal here at Scrumcademy is to create and help 10,000 Scrum Masters get into the game and play it at a super duper high level. That's the goal. Beside that goal is to help 1,000 people become millionaires. Well, it's less than that now, but that's the goal. Now, I can tell you how legendary the class is going to be, but I think it's best to let the Scrumcademy alumni speak on our behalf. Their testimonies will tell you exactly what to expect. Check this out. In a nutshell, here's what you can expect to gain from this course. Let's first of all start out with my product goal for you. I want you to emerge as an effective Scrum Master, whether you're planning on using this newfound knowledge for a company that you might work for or in your personal journey. Let me pause there for a moment and elaborate on that. Did you know I use Scrum in my personal life? Did you know I use Scrum to trade stocks in the stock market? Did you know that I use Scrum to become a better person? So, ladies and gentlemen, you can use it in your personal life. There's something in your personal life that you could use Scrum to make it better, more efficient, more lean. So most methodologies or frameworks I've learned in my life, I've always found a use case that I can use it in my personal life to get better at something. I will show you those things. And yes, part of the goal is to equip you to pass the PSM1 examination, but, and it's a big but, none of Scrum.org classes is about helping you pass the exam. The class is about arming you with practical skills to use Scrum effectively day in and day out. As a byproduct of us teaching you Scrum, the right way and how to be effective, how to implement and use Scrum in your workplace or in your personal life, whatever the situation may be. As a byproduct of that, you should be able to do very, very well on the exam. The exam is going to test your knowledge. Do you know the Scrum Guide? Okay, great. The second thing the exam is going to test you on is, do you know how to execute the Scrum Guide? And yes, you're going to learn both of those things in great detail in class. So when you come to class, don't worry about the exam. I know that's part of the reason that you're there. If I do my job, which I'm going to do my job, and teach you Scrum, the exam's still going to be difficult. But it shouldn't have you on a fence like you in a boxing match, like getting ready to get knocked out. You shouldn't be on the ropes of the exam. Now, remember, the exam is 60 minutes. So if you know the material, in my opinion, you should be done in about 45 minutes. Here's some insights I will also share with you as well. That for most people who are serious about this game and they go take the exam after the class, they making 90+%. You only need 85% to pass because they know Scrum and they know how to execute it. Very nice. There are 8 modules in this class that we will go through. We'll start out the day, of course, doing an introduction. I'm going to do my best to simulate in-person experience as much as I possibly can. It would definitely be a collaborative environment. It's going to be very interactive. So if you think you're just going to come and hear me lecture all day, nah. I would teach you a little bit, then you would go in a breakout room so that you could validate your learning of the concepts. So be prepared to roll up your sleeve and participate. Our exercises are designed to foster teamwork and sharpen your critical thinking skills. You will apply Scrum concepts in real-world scenarios from start to finish. Some of the other things I'm thinking about that we do in introduction is I'm going to ask you for your playlist because we're going to be jamming the rest of our time together. So during the breaks, what am I going to do? Play your music. That helps me expand my horizons. So again, I got students from all over the world. Wherever you call me from, I want you to play your music because I want to hear your music. I'm in your town. I want to hear your music. I'm looking forward to that. I'm a jazz and classical person myself, so listening to your music just helps me get out of my limited genre. So that's the introduction. That's going to set the stage for the class. What I recommend is get to know the people in the class, tap into the collective intelligence, especially when you're in the breakout room doing these exercises together. You get to know some of the class participants a little bit more intimately. They're probably going to share their experiences, share your experiences as well as you're working through the exercises. A lot of the people who I still remain in contact with today, some of my mentors are people who I've met in a class, such as you getting ready to take. Now, the next section we're going to cover is theory and first principles. Now, that's where I will get lost. To me, that's the most important module of the entire class. Theory and first principles, understanding the why behind the game of Scrum and Agile. Sadly, ladies and gentlemen, most Scrum and Agile practitioners can't answer the question, why was the Scrum Guide made in the first place? What problems are we trying to solve? There are 2 reasons, and most people can't even answer that question. I've been practicing this stuff for years, sadly, but none of Scrumcademy students will ever be Scrum done. Never, ever. So I'm going to spend an awful lot of time talking about the history of Scrum. How do we get to this point? Because I know that once I help you understand the why behind Scrum and Agile, that when I get to the next module, which is the framework, the what is easy. Going through the framework is easy. Now, when I get to the framework, I'm going to take a step back because in most environments, you're going to be walking onto a Scrum team that's already been doing Scrum, be it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever the case may be. But here's the problem. They Scrum down. So you're going to be fixing Scrum in most cases. But before I get there, see, fixing Scrum, that's a different skill set. I also hope that you will have the luxury and the opportunity to take some Scrum team from some other methodology or framework and bring them over here to Scrum and Agile, which that is us, the Scrum Master, are going to teach how we play this game called Scrum and Agile. So before I get started with the framework, I'm going to take a step back and go all the way from concept. We got this cool idea. We got it funded. Okay, which methodology or framework we're going to use, and then we're going to roll into the framework so that you get a holistic view, because I'm hoping at some point in time in your career, you're going to have the opportunity to take some Scrum team and show them how we play this game. That's part of what we do, our accountabilities as Scrum Masters, right? I'm thinking about our accountability to the organization is in that section of the Scrum Guide. Yes. Did you read your Scrum Guide today? If not, begin to get on a track to read your Scrum Guide or listen to it. I've made it super duper convenient. Listen to it every single day. Taking away all excuses so that you can be legendary. So that's the framework. I will spend an awful lot of time in the framework showing you how to start up a Scrum team with the Scrum Guide. I will start from showing you how to get a team up and running through the framework. We'll start with sprint 1. In most cases, you won't see a sprint 1. You will see sprint 2 and beyond because the team is already up and running by the time you join. By that time in the class, I've already told you so many different stories that you already see where Scrum can be applied, like the story about how I'm going to build your house using Scrum. Scrum is in construction. Scrum is everywhere. I don't know of a domain that Scrum has not penetrated yet, even construction. Yes, building houses. We'll talk about that in class. So by the time I get to the framework and give you the second or the third project that I have ran using Scrum, then after that, what am I going to do? I'm going to show you how I use Scrum in my personal life and show you how I build wealth for my family. Scrum is applicable to other things as well. As I mentioned before, why not use Scrum in your personal life? That's something that you can make better. If you understand Scrum, it's applicable to an awful lot of things. Not just working for somebody else getting a paycheck. Create your own paycheck. Then also I'm going to show you how I use Scrum to become a better person. I give you these different domains and different ideas because what I want to do is I want you to think about this rubber band here. I want you to think about this rubber band. So this is the rubber band right here. When I get to this part of the class, well, actually before I get to this part of the class, I'm going to be stretching your mind. I'm going to be stretching your mind. I'm going to be stretching your mind like this rubber band. I'm going to be stretching your mind, stretching your mind, stretching your mind. I'm not going to pull it any further because I really don't want to pop myself. But you get the idea. The next module we go into, we're going to talk about done and not done. Either you're done or you're not. Then we're going to talk about product delivery with Scrum. Okay, how do we do that? How do we achieve that? What about people and team? That's another module we'll go through. Scrum isn't about processes. It's a people-centric framework. We're going to talk about the human side of Scrum, exploring how to create high-performing teams. It's like discovering the secret recipe for harmonious and efficient teams. We're going to do that. I'm going to show you the 5 things that I do as a Scrum Master to help a Scrum team be legendary. It takes me 90 days to see what you see in the movie Nanny McPhee. That's right. Nanny McPhee, I would definitely introduce you to Nanny McPhee. She is the greatest Scrum Master of all time. In fact, that's one of the prerequisites that I'm going to ask you before you come to the class. I'm going to give you some pre-class instruction. That will be part of it. Please watch Nanny McPhee, or please at least read about it so that you know what I'm talking about when you come to class. Because I do an awful lot of storytelling so that I can make sure that you understand these concepts. So yeah, I'm going to teach you what the concepts are. And you're going to do some exercises to validate your understanding and your execution of it. And then I'm going to tell you stories on top of that, filling the deal so that you could mess this up if you wanted to. And then the next to the last module we have is going to be the Scrum Master. By the time I get to that module, I will have told you all the stories and experiences I've had, answered your question. You will get tapped into the collective intelligence of the class. So you can go through that module pretty fast, and then we're going to close out for the day. Before the class even start, I already have it waiting on you right now. First of all, everybody's going to be riding first class in this class. Meaning what? Just sit back, relax, participate, have fun. Because even before you come to the class, I have a virtual classroom that's set up for you with everything I think you might need to be successful on exam. That's the short term. And also some long-term information that I've gathered over the years in my own experience and just teaching thousands of students, things that I've just seen that you're going to need. Maybe not now, maybe not next month, maybe not next year, but you have it in this virtual classroom, which you're going to have a lifetime access to. I already got it laid out for you. Everybody at Scrumcademy rides first class, baby. That's right. First class, legendary experience. Yes. This is how we do it. Montel. So those are the 8 modules that we're going to go through in class, deep dive into each and every one of them. So most time I will spend on this theory and first principles and really just helping you to understand Scrum and Agile, what it is about. Now, the curriculum for Scrum.org doesn't call for me even talking about the Agile Manifesto. What I have observed is that I need to teach you about the Agile Manifesto. I need to teach you how Scrum and Agile plays together. So I have thrown that into theory and first principle. Don't worry, I'm not taking anything away from what you paid for. I'm actually giving you more value than what you actually paid for. So I'm adding value to you, but I know that learning is key, is very important to you, not necessarily to pass the exam, but that information is key for you to be legendary in the workplace, to actually understand. If you're new to Agile and Scrum, sometimes you may be talking to a person and 1 minute out of this side of their mouth, they're saying Agile, then almost like in the next sentence, they're talking about Scrum. And if you don't know how these two documents are working together, then you might think that person's crazy. Hey, man, hey, woman, is it Scrum or is it Agile? Which one is it? It can be confusing. So I want to take the time to make sure I bridge that gap for you and make sure you have a thorough, deep understanding of both of those documents and how they play together. Now let's move to the final section, which is how do you get started? We're almost done with sprint planning, by the way. Are you ready to embark on this Scrum Master journey? I know, seriously. Seriously. If you're ready, here's the straightforward guide. First things first, all you need to do is head over to Scrumcademy's website, or you can go to the official scrum.org page, find GSM Scott Adams, and then you could register there also. You'll find all the registration details there, and it's easy as a few clicks. But before we begin, here's a little homework assignment. Don't worry, it's a piece of cake. Start by reading the Scrum Guide or listening to it to build your foundation. And for some enjoyable preparation, here's some cool, enjoyable preparation for the class. I want you to watch the movie Nanny McPhee. Years ago, when I started teaching this class, Nanny McPhee used to be free. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but I promise you it is well worth every penny of it because it shows you the type of Scrum Master that you're going to see in the workplace. It also shows you the type of Scrum Master that even you may become. So that's why I will spend an awful lot of time talking about that movie. So if you don't get a chance to watch it before the class, typically what happens is after I talk about it the first day, what happens is the students go watch it and they come back the next day. You're right. I watched Nanny McPhee. It was spot on what you said. Yeah. I don't know of another story, another movie that could articulate to you so that I can give you an experience, whereas you can come and shadow me at work. I don't know of another movie that can do that as effective as that. So if you know another one that might be able to you, hey, I'm all for it. Please let me know about it. And I'm more than happy to take a look at it and see if it will make the cut. And after you watch that, you will clearly see why I recommend you doing that. If you watch it before class, you're going to be right there with me every single step of the way. But again, no worries. I'm going to teach the class in such a way that everybody would know what's going on. Even though if you just signed up that morning, you didn't have time to read anything, you didn't even know what to expect. So that's perfectly okay. I will make sure everybody is where they need to be when they need to be. I kind of run the class like to a convoy as much as I possibly can. Some people will be here, other people will be here. But what I do promise and guarantee you is that when we land this plane, when we finish the class, doing the closeout section, doing module 8, I promise you when we land this plane, everybody's going to land in the same destination, with the same knowledge, and have a clear understanding of what do you need to do specifically from here and forward, if you haven't already implemented some of the things we talked about from the previous day. So are you ready to dive in and embark on your Scrum Master journey? If so, go ahead and register today, and I look forward to seeing you in one of my legendary classes next week. How about that? I'll see you there. Before we leave, be agile, do Scrum, and be legendary, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Have an amazing day.